One mini world, one creation dream.
Now let's start with the objectives. Today we are going to start to create our first games. You're going to see that all the work we made for the previous classes are going to start taking results. You are going to see that adding the games to the system is very easy now that we have already most of our system finished, okay? First, we are going to learn how to do one of the main rooms of the game, and it's the elimination room. How the elimination room works. Remember that in this kind of game, just for you to increase the sales and also for the players to have like another way to play, every 5 rounds you will be teleported to your main room, the room where you have your stores, the room when you have the players and all the other things. On there, the player with less stars is going to be eliminated, is going to be deleted, or is going to be killed. And apart from that player, also we are going to increase the difficulties for the different or the level for the different mini games by increasing the stars. Okay. Also, your players are going to have enough time to buy some extra things to get your items in your store. Okay, and also to have a rest. So are going to be the mini games that are going to be over all the things that we already built. And also very important, we are going to continuously work on this. That is your extra dynamics library, the one that you create on triggers. But for now, we are going to focus on this one, okay? So how it works in theory and in practice for your games, okay? So how is composed a game? Once we got all the previous things already set up, we can start creating our games. And this is very important. Remember that yesterday I asked you to create different folders. This is how it's going to work, okay? First, we are going to have in our minigame folder the trigger of your game, okay? That's going to be just the trigger, and you can put any name on here. As an example, as we are going to create elimination room, imagine that this is the trigger elimination room, okay? And the second trigger, it's going to be inside the minigame loop, okay? That depends of your minigame, the minigame that you are playing with. Some minigames are going to have more than one trigger, but most of the times we are going to focus on just 2 triggers, the normal and the loop one, okay? So remember, this is going to be the trigger, your loop. What it's going to do, each one, okay? And very important, this is how our games are going to detect. So this is going to be executed when your minigame is going to start. And what it's going to do is to send the info to the players. It's going to tell the players, hey, you have to do this on this minigame. It's going to set up the rules. With this, I mean that as an example, you can set up the players to have a specific amount of speed, that to have a specific amount of jumping, to have the restriction to attack other players, or to allow the players to pick up items and use the items, okay? Apart from that, we are going to spawn the initial objects. As an example, if we are in the map of the chickens, when we are going to use this one to spawn the chickens, the first chickens in the game. Then is going to, very important, turn on your game loop, okay? And this is a little bit better, more accurate. So that means that is going to activate the second trigger that we are going to use for your game. Why? Because remember, for this game, we are going to be a little bit more efficient, and we have a system that turns off everything that we are not using. So the game is going to reduce the lag a lot, okay? And finally, we are going to also turn on the dynamics that we don't need for this specific minigame, and turn on the ones that we need for this minigame, okay? That's only being executed one time at the beginning of the game, and that's what or when our game is going to start. So the second one is a loop. A loop is something that repeats over and over, and what it's going to do is to handle the rules for most of our maps, okay? Mini games. So how it works? This can be on or off, this specific trigger, and it's going to be turned on and turned off by the main or the first trigger that we create, that is the normal minigame trigger. How it's going to work, we are going to have a timer. It's a global timer that is called MiniGame. Remember that you have to have the same number, the same name, like exactly like I have it here for this timer. If you put a different name on it, you need to rename it, okay? And when the timer is just about to expire, that means the timer has more than 1 second left, and it has less than 38 seconds. That means that the players are going to have 3 seconds, on here is a little bit erratic, here is 37. Players always, when the game starts, are going to have 3 seconds in which they are going to be freezed, and it's like just ready for the map, okay? It's like counting 3, 2, 1, and start. So after those 37 seconds, the game is going to start with this. Very important, the second condition is that the game ID that we are going to use globally is going to have the same ID of your game, okay? And very important, I'm going to clarify here, MiniGame ID, okay? It's going to be the same ID of your game. And what it's going to do, that depends of each game, but it's going to control your minigame, okay? That's how it works. That's like the normal map. Let me put it here so you will be able to see a little bit better. Now we are going to start creating this for the first script, okay? For the first game. And once more, we are going to start with the elimination room. So what we are going to do, guys, just stay on the elimination room that you have, the main room where the players start, and when the players are going to have the swords and all the other things. And when you are in there, what you are going to do is just open here the developer tools, and you are going to move to triggers, okay? So remember, yesterday I teach you how to create this trigger that is going to be called the register trigger, right? So in the register trigger, you are going to move to the first action, the action that is being called map register, okay? This is the custom script. And the first thing that we are going to add, of course, you are going to see a lot of things here. Let me do this so you will be able to have a clear idea. Is that we are going to put the next information in the first map, okay? Probably yesterday we got a different information, okay? Because we weren't going deeper on this, but this is the only game that it needs to have the same setup that I have here. So remember, you are going to just use the same line that you can copy. Remember that if you don't have this, information, you just can go here to your scripts, then you can go to minigame core, and you can find this information, the one that I just showed you on here. So you just go to the top and you scroll down, and you are going to see a section that says API, and you are going to see here something that says register and arena, and you are going to copy this, okay? And that's it. If you don't have it, probably you already have it because yesterday I already explained how it works. But what you have to do is just to move here and be sure that you are going to have that one, okay? Once more, on here, in between the parentheses, I have the information that you have to put. So minigame ID for the elimination room is going to be 0. Minigame name, it's going to be here, elimination. And very important, guys, check this. This for the name is required. So you need to put the 2 notation marks. On here, you need to put your coordinates. Remember, these are going to be the coordinates that you have for your map. And for now, spawn method is how your players are going to appear in that room. As this is the waiting room, the like normal room, just put a number one. Let me put it right here. Number 1 in spawn method is equals to random point in your map. That means that the players are going to spawn in any part of your map, okay? So we are going to put just a 1, and in count method, as this is the waiting room, guys, don't put any number here, just put a 0, and the system is not going to spawn any coin, okay? So that's how it's going to work. Remember, in here you have to put your coordinates, that they are the same coordinates I have here. That depends of your minigame. And that's it, right? So we already got like the register for our arena. Now that we got this, we are going to move to this folder, guys, okay? So remember, we already tell the system where is our arena and what are going to be the dimensions and the name and all the information for the arena. Now we need to create the actual elimination room. So what you are going to do, you are going to access to the folder MiniGames. You are going to create a new trigger. And the name of the trigger, that's going to be very important, guys. The name of the trigger on here is going to be the next one. You put a number, you put the number 0 on here. Hi, how are you, Alpha? Welcome to the class. So guys, this is going to be the number. Number 0 means it's going to be the first room. I put a dash on it and then the name of the room. So this one is going to be the elimination room. Well, for this one, just put the same name because it's a main system. And how it's going to work, you only need to put the next thing. If you are you use the same information that I have, you only will need to copy this and paste it a lot of times to make it work. So what you are going to do is just add here a new action, okay? And the action is going to be here. That is going to be game designated timer change. Remember this one, not this one not. You have to place this one, very important. And when you use that one, you are going to open here. And remember that we already created yesterday this specific timer where we are going to use that one, that is next minigame, okay? When next minigame changes, the conditions are going to be the first one to check the time in the minute time, okay? So the timer needs to be 0. That means that when the timers become 0, we are going to start the game. No, because if you don't put this, your game is going to execute that over and over, and we don't want that. So first, you are going to go to math, numerical comparison here, okay? And when you add that, you are going to have on here a blank screen. You are going to access here or expand that part. You are going to just select the next options and you are going to select timer time, okay? When you select that, you are going to have this green color and this arrow. To expand that arrow, and on here you need to choose which timer is the one that we are going to check the time for. So for this one is going to be next minigame. In the center, it needs to be equals to, very important, guys. On here in options, you have a lot of options, but you are going to select equals to, and the number 0, that means when the timer is got to number 0. And now the second part is to be sure that the minigame, this part is going to be the same that you got for your game when you register it, okay? And how you are going to do that? Just add here a math numerical comparison, okay? And on here, you are going to create a new variable. Well, you are not going to, well, it's okay. You are going to select a new variable, and the variable is a value variable, and it's going to be called minigame, okay? Very important, guys, on here, and this is very important, the letters and the text needs to be the same. Check the M is in uppercase and the G is in uppercase, and all the other things are in lowercase with no spaces. Equals to 0. Okay, this number from here needs to be the same number that you just put here in the map register right here, okay? So very important, be sure that this number, that is the ID, it's going to be the same. Oh, I didn't know that. Very important. Didn't know that information, and that's something that will help me out to do it better. You're telling me that it's just in tools. Oh, very important. Didn't know that, Zenit. Thank you so much. Now I will do lesson 4 to create a game. But thank you. So just do what Zenit told you instead. But well, very important. Once more, the number here, it needs to be the ID, okay? So now when you have this resolved, we can add the actions, okay? So first action that you are going to add is right here. You are going to go to your normal system. We are going to add a script and we are going to execute a script, okay? Right now I have it already on here, but you are going to just add it manually here. Once more, on here you are going to change the rules, and here is going to be change permissions, okay? And let me explain how it works. What you need to do is you need to copy this from the triggers section, okay? Remember guys, this is going to be the link where you can check this. On here you have all information, as always, and you are going to select the MiniGames folder. Let me delete myself from the background so you will be able to see better, all right? And on here you have all the different systems. Once more, we have all the different things on here, and you are going to scroll down and you are going to have the permissions here. And I'm going to teach you how to use this, okay? Just be sure that you copy and paste, and be sure that this is in the original language, and you are going to paste it into your trigger, okay? So let me explain what it does. This will allow you to change the permissions for the player. So for the next game, the player can jump. The normal value, that means the normal jump, is going to be around 40. The normal speed is going to be 10. And on here you have true or false, okay? So can place a block is self-explanatory, is if you are going to allow the players to put blocks, okay? Next to it I put you the different options that you can have for this, okay? You can be true or it can be false, okay? So as an example, if you don't want the players to move in your minigame, just choose this false. And with that, your players are not going to be able to move. If you want the players to be able to attack each other, just change this to to true. And with that, the players will be able to attack. You don't have to do anything else. You only have to change that values, okay? And that's very important, guys. You are going to have different permissions for each minigame, okay? Of course, I already have created mine on here. So we are going to delete those, and we are going to check the ones that I got already here. So for this specific one, okay, we are going to put the name once more here, change permissions, and can jump, it's going to be for 50. Can speed is going to be normal speed. Normal speed is 10. That means 100% of the speed. If you change this as an example for 80, you are going to have like different speeds on there, okay? Now, can camera means if you are going to move the camera to first, second, or third person. So in this game, you need to have a back camera for this mini game. You can use the number 3. If you want the first person, the normal camera, just put a 0 on it. As you see, the options are right next. I think this one is not here on the permissions that I put you in the description. Yeah, this one is not. So let me correct that just a second here. This is going to be very important, so you are going to avoid that mistake. All right, so now let me save it here, and that's it. All right, can move is if the player can move. These are going to be self-explanatory. Can use blocks, can be killed, can attack, can pick up items, can drop items, okay? On this one, all the conditions, as you see, needs to be the same. As an example, the only thing that is false here, or let me see, the things that are true here are going to be the player can move, of course, because it's going to be the elimination room. Do we want the players to move? The player can use items, yes, because probably in your store the players are going to be able to buy some things. Can be killed, also it needs to be true, and this is very important, guys, because if we are in the elimination room and we don't set up this, player probably it's going to be immortal, so if we try to eliminate it, he won't be able to be killed. So very important for the elimination room, put a true on it. can pick items needs to be true because we want the player to be able to pick up the items from the stores or whatever. And can drop items, I put it on true. This is optional. You can put also a false on it and just save it. With that, we are telling the game like, hey, this is going to be the different rules that you are going to have for your map, okay? On here, also, you can place a specific message. As an example, I put those decorations. Are going to be normal text, but I'm going to be the decorations, so the player will be able to see the main message inside those brackets. And this main message is like the rules that the player are going to have. To put those, just after we set up the change permissions, just add a new action. The action is going to be on here on player group. Remember, not player, just player group. And you are going to select the one that says display chat info for player group, okay? Once you do that, you can put the text that you want to put, okay? This is going to be the instructions for your map. That is going to be very important. In my case, in this room, the player with less stars is going to be eliminated, okay? So, why do we put this, okay? Let me show you the effect on the chat. Just a second, if this loads. Okay. Check this. This is the message. As you see right here, you are going to have like the text that decorates all the games. So as you see on here, it's just a decoration, okay? And the normal text. Whatever you want to put on there, be sure that the players are going to see it. So if you want to do a decoration, do it. If you don't want it, it's okay, okay? So now that you have the text that the players are going to have, for this room only, we are going to add a wait, okay? How do you add a wait? You go here, you just scroll down, put timer, and waiting time, okay? On here, you are going to put to wait 5 seconds. Remember, on here you can change the time. Okay, and after 5 seconds, we are going just to copy on here the text that we created before, and we are going to paste it once more on the elimination room. Okay, and what we are going to do is just to show to all the players a concatenation. Okay, so how do you do that? And very important on this, I forgot to teach you this. When you, in the previous one, when you want to send a message to all the players, just go ahead to player group and select all the players. With that, it's going to work. You don't have to do that much. On that one, on here is going to have the same. It's going to be for all players, but this one is going to change. On here, you can go to content library. You select string concatenation, guys. And in a string concatenation, you are going to have like this interface. It will allow you to create two strings and match it together. So the first one that we are going to do is to get the player name of the player that is going to die. And very important, the system is going to do this automatically. You don't have to worry for that. What you have to do is just to put the right information. So in the first screen here, we are going to select function library, player, and player name, okay? And in player name is going to allow us to choose which player. Very important, guys, you have to create a variable, and the variable has to have the exact name I got in the screen. So it needs to be, once more, here, eliminated player, okay? Check the spelling for this. It needs to be exactly the same because this is something that the system detects. Once more, you can change that later if you put a different name, but it needs to be eliminated player, okay? It needs to be like this, okay? So once you select eliminated player here, what you are going to do is put an and in on here. You are going to tell the game something like I put it here. Is the player with less stars? That means that is the player that is having the worst score. Eliminating player, okay? And be sure that you translate this to the different languages. So all the different languages are going to know. Very important, guys. Once more, if there is a rule in your game, always explain that rule to the other players, okay? That's it for now. Remember, once more, guys, the variable, it's going to be eliminated player. Once more, if you got a wrong name, just hit edit and change the name here, but it needs to be the same I got in my screen. Copy and paste it like it is, okay? Now, what we are going to do is just to wait another seconds of the time that you want it. So once more, you just add here another variable, another timer that is going to be waiting time, and we are going to wait 2 seconds, okay? Once more, 2 seconds, and then what we are going to do, or what I did, is to create an effect and a sound into the player. So remember, the player that is going to be eliminated is going to be the variable that you just created, okay? The system is going to do that automatically. You don't have to worry for that. So the system will know always who is going to be the less, or the player that has less scored. So what you are going to do is just add an effect, okay? To add an effect, just go here, select special effect, and play a special effect. Sorry, this note is this one, okay? This one is the correct to a player, very important, okay? And when you select a player, you are going to choose the effect that you want. In my case, I use light effect 37. Let me scroll down right here. That is this one to some seconds before the player got killed, let the other players know which one is the player that is going to be killed. And once more, you are going to select the variables, eliminated player, and the size is whatever you want to choose. Welcome, Kenzie. Welcome to the class. Now, you are going to also play the sound if you want it. Of course, that depends on your map. In my map, I do it like this. You can change the order, but very important, at the end, kill the player, okay? So if you want to keep it like I have it, I put turn effects on player, and the effect for that player, and let me put it just a second here, it's going to be this one, okay? Okay, once more, you need to select eliminated player here. Once more, it's in here on variables. I played the skill 31, and you can keep it everything like it is. On here, it needs to be false. That's the only thing, okay? Once more, and once we got this, I pause the game another 4 seconds. You use this. You go to timer, and you put in waiting time. And once you get to waiting time, another 4 seconds right here, check. You are going to create another sound or effect, whatever you want it, okay? But what I did at the end, those are just going to be effects. Well, the first one is another effect, just like another sound effect. The one that says kill, you just add that sound on there, just by the same way you add the last sound. I also make the player fly, but this is not noticeable in the game, so don't use that. And the most important, at the end of your elimination room, just put here, once that's it, player, and put defeat player, okay? That's going to kill the player. And the player that you are going to kill is eliminated player, okay? Okay, this is going to be all for the elimination room. Remember, I told you that we are going to use also this. Well, this is the only game that I create that doesn't have a loop, okay? Because it's just elimination room, we don't have to have any specific loop for that one. With this, we already have our elimination room created. So right now, the players will be able to get on there every 5 rounds, okay? So, guys, now we have our first elimination room.